Well, I would love to hear what you'd have to tell us about living with MS and how to find it easier to have your backyard barbecues and enjoy your life as well as maintaining your symptoms of MS. So would you like to begin with Courtney Roman?
Sure.
And explain what is relapsing MS?
Relapsing MS is a chronic neurologic condition where your own immune system, it's autoimmune, so your own immune system attacks a coating on your nerves in your brain, spinal cord, and optic nerves. And when that happens, there are neurologic symptoms that can flare up, like numbness, tingling, weakness, difficulty walking, visual disturbances, heat sensitivity, and fatigue. And they usually come up in flare-up sequence. So you'll have normal neurologic function, then a flare-up of neurologic dysfunction with either complete recovery or incomplete recovery, leaving some of those neurologic symptoms on a daily basis as the patient adjusts to a new normal. Now, luckily, we've made a lot of strides in the field of MS over the last couple of decades. We have multiple medications that are available to help treat MS and slow down disability progression and relapse rate. So there's plenty of information that's available, and my role is to just help educate patients and encourage them to be advocates for themselves and learn more about the condition and more about the treatments that are available.
Right, and the heat does have a very adverse effect on someone with MS. So, Chef Ben Ford, would you like, you have a personal connection to this, and would you like to tell us about that?
Sure. I have a mother who's had MS or been diagnosed with MS for 40 years. She was starting to show symptoms as I was growing up as a teenager, and trying to help her. She was a huge entertainer. She loved to entertain. She loved to cook, and so that was a big part of her life. And trying to find ways to help her continue in that way and prolong it. Making small but impactful changes was a big deal, and those are the kind of things that I'm bringing to the Reimagine Myself campaign.
That's wonderful. And can you, because the heat is so hard on people with MS, can you give us some tips on summer entertaining during these months when you do want to have a cookout and share friends and family?
Well, I think that's the key right there. You said it. You hit the nail on the head. Is it's friends and family. So that's not the norm necessarily when you're entertaining throughout the rest of the year. So it's nice to have people in the backyard. It's nice to have friends and family that can get involved in the cooking process of it. I don't think that in most cases when you're entertaining inside, maybe you have to. More of that cooking falls on yourself. And it's also about planning, whether you're inside or outside, whether you're suffering with MS or not, is always a good idea to plan. If you do have MS, it's nice to find recipes that break down easily. So you're doing small little bits of the sort of the bigger picture each day. And heat, as Courtney said, and as you mentioned, heat can be a big deal. So just taking the precautions ahead of time. Cooling yourself, wearing nice, good clothing, staying in the shade, and maybe bringing in a cooling device of some sort. It's really important to stay cool. So, but the rest of it, the idea of entertaining the backyard is a great plus for people who love to do that.
Right. And as a chef yourself, do you find that there are any foods that help alleviate or the symptoms or?
Well, I think anything inflammatory is of issue, but I'm going to let Courtney speak on that.
Okay.
So there's no one diet that is recommended across the board for everyone. Certainly people can have certain sensitivities to different types of food. So I oftentimes will encourage patients to do an elimination diet and see what they might be sensitive to. But in general, we recommend fresh fruits and vegetables, fatty fish consumption to help support your nerves. But then also just a very clean, healthy diet to create a healthy body.
Which across the board will help symptoms in most ailments. If you just have
Sure.
You can't go wrong, right?
Right. The combination of good diet and exercise really cannot be beat.
Right. And now the for the listeners to go to, it's reimaginemyself.com.
That's correct, and you'll find I'm contributing content to that as well as other experts in their own field who either have MS or have know someone personally that has been affected by it. So you're going to find lots of content on there. It's always changing, and we're always updating it. So it's a good website if you have MS to stay close to.
Okay, or if you have a loved one or friend,
Absolutely.
this way you know how to help them as well. Well, thank you for visiting with Living the Gourmet, and I hope anyone that's listening, I'm sure reimaginemyself.com is a good place for them to go to get some information on this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
That was